Hey guys, I'm excited to be here with you again today. We're going to continue the Dangers of Dairy series with part 3, which is dairy and its link to the development of certain cancers. Alright, let's just jump right into it. So there's a couple of factors that influence dairy's link to increasing the risk of developing certain cancers. One is its influence on increasing IGF-1 levels, which is insulin-like growth factor 1. It's a hormone that is produced in our bodies. And the other factor is its influence on sex hormones within our bodies. So, IGF-1 is produced in our livers, and as it mentions in its name, it's a growth hormone. It aids in the development of us, of children, of muscles, tissues, organs. It's influential for our health. So how is it that excess amounts of this influential growth hormone could be bad for us? This study mentions that the anabolic signals by insulin or IGF-1 can promote tumor development by inhibiting apoptosis. So it's slowing down the rate at which cells die, and by stimulating cell proliferation. So it's increasing the rate at which cells reproduce. So again, with regards to cancer tumors, these are all bad things. We want those cells to die, and we also don't want those cells to reproduce. Epidemiological evidence is accumulating and suggests that the risk of cancers of the colon, pancreas, endometrium, breast, and prostate are related to circulating levels of insulin, IGF-1, or both. Now, this hormone, IGF-1, is actually linked to increases in building material or amino acids. So if we ingest a lot of protein, which is compiled of amino acids, so there's a lot of building material, right? So now the liver says, hey, let's build some stuff. We got a bunch of material, so it starts producing IGF-1 and alerts the body, hey, let's go to town and build things, and repair and grow. But this can pose a problem with regards to cancer and cancer tumor development and growth. Something worth noting is the fact that this animal protein seems to influence to a greater degree the production of IGF-1 than does vegetable protein. Moving on to factor number 2, dairy and its influence on circulating sex hormones. And there's a study that appeared in the journal Breast Care, and this is what the authors had to say. After the intake of cow milk, serum estradiol 1, which is just a form of estrogen, and progesterone concentration significantly increased, and serum luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, and testosterone significantly decreased in this case, male adults. But same goes for females, males, children. Dairy affects the circulating levels of very influential sex hormones. And again, these hormones are related to reproductive cancers, such as breast cancer, ovarian cancer, endometrium cancer, and for men, prostate cancer and testicular cancer. And now let's just look at some articles and some research that just reconfirms what I've said, whether it be through the mechanism of increasing IGF-1 or through influencing the circulating levels of sex hormones. But there is a strong correlation between dairy and its link to cancer. As this study concludes, there's a strong association between milk consumption and prostate cancer. And there's a pretty cool study that was done just with prostate cancer cells, and cow's milk. Because anyway, they put organic milk in this petri dish with prostate cancer cells, and lo and behold, the cancer cells reproduced at a rate 30% greater than normal. And interesting to note is that they tried this exact same experiment with almond milk, and it showed that cancer cells actually reproduce at a rate 30% lower. And yes, I realize that this was cancer cells in a petri dish and not necessarily cancer cells inside of a human being, and the fact that milk that is consumed is digested. And yes, so I understand all that, but it is interesting. This study does give us something to think about. And finally, another study, this was again just a correlation study. In Japan, after World War II, the intake of dairy, meat, and eggs skyrocketed. And over the next 50 years, the rate of prostate cancer in men actually increased 25-fold. That's it for today, folks. Hopefully you've learned something, or at least I've given you something to think about. And just to recap, dairy influences levels of IGF-1, which is a hormone that our body produces. It seems to be mostly due to the fact of protein content in the milk that stimulates this production of IGF-1. Higher levels have been linked to various forms of cancer. Dairy also messes with and influences naturally occurring sex hormones in males and females and children, which has also been linked to various forms of reproductive cancers. Now, in the next video, part 4 of the dangers of dairy, we'll be looking at dairy and digestion. You don't want to miss it, because there's some